Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about why your residuals are not growing. Why your residuals are not growing. Specifically, we're talking about merchant services here, and we're going through a calculator. So if you're just jumping in, whether it's on our podcast or whether it's on our video, thank you for taking time to watch or listen to this mini-series. You need to go to instantquotetool.com. You can pull it right up on your phone. It's mobile responsive. You don't have to sign in. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. Just go to instantquotetool.com and click on goals up in the navigation bar in the upper right-hand corner. And that's going to take you to an income calculator. Now, what I want to do is I want to walk you through this income calculator, and in the last, I think we've done 3 or 4 videos already, and I'm going to walk you through. We've already done a lot of these assumptions. So assuming you're an average merchant services sales rep, which we talked about that definition in the first video, I'm assuming you're going to make 12 sales per month year 1, 7 sales per month year 2, 5 sales per month year 3, and you're going to make an average upfront bonus of $450 per deal. Now again, where did I come up with all those numbers? You need to watch the previous videos or listen to the previous podcast episodes the last few days, but that's where we're at. So we're now down to the gross margin. Now the gross margin, I'm going to explain it today. We have it set here at $70, and I'm actually going to leave it at $70. I think that's a good number to leave it at. But I want to talk about the gross margin because the gross margin is the least important assumption for your first year income, and it's the most important assumption for your long-term income. So short-term versus long-term is always this balancing act in business, and your gross margin is your total account profitability per month. So gross margin means what's the total amount of profit this account brings in a month. Now, that doesn't mean it's what you bring in a month, okay? That's the total profit the account generates for the ISO or the processor or the acquirer. Then it's a matter of what percentage are you getting, and we're going to talk about that in a later video. So there are 2 things that dictate the gross margin on an account, 2 kind of sub-assumptions that you need to understand. The first one, and probably the most important, is the size of the accounts that you're going after. Now there's really a sweet spot here because some of you are trying to go after these huge mega accounts. Well, one thing I found is that huge mega accounts are a little bit less satisfying than you would hope. Because, you go after that 30, 40 location, restaurant. Well, the problem is they already have such a good deal that in order to save them money, you're going to be making like 20, 30 bucks a month on each store. And it's going to be a huge pain to set them up. Plus you have the added stress of like nervous that they're going to call you and say the system went down when they have like 40 restaurants, The big mega accounts are a little bit frustrating sometimes. Your number of accounts per year you can sell goes down quite a bit. Your gross margin per account is significantly lower. Then you have your really small accounts. The accounts are doing less than $10,000 a month in volume, specifically less than $7,000 a month in volume. Those are like really small mom and pop shops. And on those, you're only going to be making 20, 30, 40 bucks a month max on those really, really small accounts. Where you really want to be is on these accounts that are doing between $7,000 a month and $50,000 a month in volume. That is usually your sweet spot. Certainly, if you can get a multiple location business that has 2 or 3 locations that fit that description, all the better. But you really want to be in that $7,000 to $50,000 range. Now, again, you say, well, James, what if I run across a merchant that does $4,000 a month? Sell them, right? What if I run across a merchant that does $4 million a month? Sell them, okay? But don't get overly excited about either of those extremes. You should be putting 90% of your effort and your focus into selling these $7,000 to $50,000 a month merchants, and you should just be focused all in on that. How do I sell these people? How do I get these sales? And why? Because the gross margin on those deals is where you're going to hit that $70 gross margin. You get up to maybe $50,000 a month. You could be at $140 gross margin. So in that range, that's where you're going to average out. So right now, I want you to go to instantquotetool.com, click on goals, look down at the gross margin. It says $70. If you are currently or you're planning on focusing on smaller merchant accounts, all mom and pop shops, you're not going to go to any locations that are larger, then you probably want to take that down to closer to $50, maybe even $40, depending on how low you're going to go. If you're only selling businesses that do maybe 30,000 or more in volume, 20, 30,000 or more in volume, you probably want to take that number up to about 100 to 120, maybe even 150, depending on how high you're going to go. And so you want to have that in there. But again, look back at your sales per month and realize if you're only selling people that do 30, 40, 50,000 a month in volume, you may only make 6 or 7 sales a month. So that's where you're going to have to look at those assumptions and change them. But if you're just going after all the merchants in your market indiscriminately, trying to sell everybody, you're probably going to be at about $70 a month in total gross profit on an account. But that's not how much money you're going to make. We're going to cover that when we talk about residual split in the next video.